Thank you for joining us for this month's virtual Curators Tour. I'm Jenna Gilley, Associate Curator of Exhibitions at the Fort Wayne Museum of Art, and I'll be your guide today. We will be looking at the exhibition, The National, Best Contemporary Photography 2022, curated by Lauren Wolfer. The National is a hybrid invitational and juried exhibition, anchored by standout talents Morgan Berry, Karen Kleindinst, Jeanette May, Jack Sharkey, Raymond Thompson Jr., Ian Van Kohler, and Melanie Walker. Their work is reinforced by the photography of dozens of talented emerging artists from across the country, all currently pushing the boundaries of the medium. In terms of aesthetic quality, technical innovation, and cultural relevance, contemporary photography continuously proves its dominance as a 21st century art form. Since 2014, the Fort Wayne Museum of Art has sought out the most interesting and original contemporary voices that speak the language of photography, a pursuit hampered by the proliferation of photographs that dominate our visual world. With rapidly developing technology, photography is now instantaneous and shareable across the globe by the masses. For these reasons, our eye for spotting the most compelling and impactful photographic images is sharper than it was yesterday, and ready for entirely new approaches to this art form. The artists in this presentation each express vastly different concepts, many through traditional methods, others with innovative techniques, and even more who infuse their work with both. Differences aside, all share certain common traits: discontent with the status quo, a hunger for excellent craft, and a vision for truly thought-provoking and culturally relevant work that contributes to the national discussion on contemporary photography. We wish to thank the invited artists for enthusiastically embracing this exhibition and allowing us to proudly showcase some of the finest work being created or exhibited in the nation. Further, we would like to thank the many additional talented artists who answered our call to entry. You make this exhibition expansive and enthralling, presenting a compelling and comprehensive look at photography today. First up on our tour is Low-Hanging Fruit by J. P. Terlizzi. Terlizzi is a New York City photographer whose contemporary practice explores themes of memory, relationship, and identity. His images are rooted in the personal and are heavily influenced around the notion of home, legacy, and family. This still life features the artist's distinctive use of color and texture. Vibrant oranges and cranberries rise from a robin egg blue cup, situated against a lightly textured gray background. Terlizzi uses food as a medium to convey stories of family tradition. Oranges and cranberries have long been associated with holiday treats in Christianity. Oranges would have been considered exotic, expensive treats in the cold winter months before they were prevalent in grocery stores year-round. They were also often given as Christmas gifts as a symbol of the gold bags St. Nicholas is said to have left for 3 poor maidens as dowries. Cranberries, on the other hand, were prevalent throughout much of the northern United States and were harvested frequently by Native Americans and early settlers in the fall. Together, they are a delicious and distinctive reminder to many of family gathering and joy. The vibrancy, composition, and storyline of this photo won Terlizzi first prize in the exhibition. A solo show of his work will be shown at the Fort Wayne Museum of Art in the next few years. Another exquisite and unique photographic work comes from the invited artist Raymond Thompson Jr. Thompson is an artist, educator, and visual journalist based in Austin, Texas. His series of photographs, produced for the Trauma of White Light series, features appropriated photographs created by Farm Security Administration photographers in the 1930s. These images are reprinted on living tobacco leaves using a chlorophyll printing technique. The artist says, "Tobacco is a plant whose taproot is buried deep in the American experience. Like other cash crops, it had a whole agricultural ecosystem devoted to its cultivation. The violence of the transatlantic slave trade and the following sharecropping system, in which black sharecroppers worked land they did not own and paid a share of their crop to landlords as rent, left many African American people with truncated personal histories, myths, and family memories." The images created by the FSA, a group composed entirely of white people, represent one of the few sources of visual information about life in this part of Black North Carolina in the 1930s. Untitled, After Rothstein and the Trauma of White Light No. 1, depicts a faded image of a young black man with his hand covering the lower portion of his face. The man's eyes, being the area with the most contrast, sear out of the piece, gazing slightly to the right of the viewer. His emotion is potent, whether the viewer interprets it as anger, exhaustion, or controlled shock. The sepia tones make one think of an old family album, hearkening back to the artist's search for his ancestry. Our next work also utilizes organic material. However, in this case, it is the primary subject as well as the medium. Erin Patton McFarren creates art from her studio in Fort Wayne and along local waterways. In works such as St. Mary's River, Fort Wayne, Patton McFarren places a sheet of paper in the body of water, and using a simple cyanotype process, captures the movement of water in the moment the print was made. Cyanotypes are created by exposing a chemically treated piece of paper to sunlight. Once rinsed in water, the paper turns a bright blue. Patton McFarren utilizes this process to the fullest, using the water as a slight barrier to the sun's UV rays, which creates multiple blue shades and undulating shapes. Bits of organic material, such as rock or sand, can also adhere to the paper during the process, resulting in a speckled effect. This can be seen in St. Mary's River, Fort Wayne, in the upper left quadrant. Turning our attention to the industrial world, Lauren Davies' woven photographic work titled Collapse sheds light on the decaying American manufacturing system. In areas like her native Cleveland, the impact of global and internet economies has increasingly left communities in the Rust Belt impoverished and abandoned. This photo of a crumbling warehouse was produced using the printing services at Walmart, which some of you may know can turn photographic images into digitally woven blankets, pillows, and even rugs. Weaving, once a rare and valuable skill, has been replaced by automation. Threads unravel beneath the piece, perhaps suggesting the poor quality of the textile, or further emphasizing the subject's disintegration. The juxtaposition of an image of collapsing local manufacturing, produced by its antithesis of a massive global corporation at a minuscule price, provides the viewer with a potent message about the declining quality of our products, local industry, and physical landscape. The final piece we'll be discussing is Battle Dance from the Passing Eden series by Elizabeth Libert. Libert is a fine art photographer who lives and works in Cambridge, Massachusetts. One of her most recent photography projects is Passing Eden, which focuses on her two sons. Libert remarks that our usual response to aggressive male behavior is boys will be boys. Made in the wake of the Me Too movement and her own history with sexual violence, this series documents the dichotomy of purity and aggression that can be found in young children, especially boys, and the fear of what they will become as they grow out of innocence. In Battle Dance, Libert's two sons run around a lush dark green space. One brother pushes the other back, most likely in play, but because neither of their faces are visible, it's difficult to tell either's reaction. They are stripped to the waist, wearing white shorts, and their golden curls flow in the wind. This angelic depiction, contrasted by an inherently violent motion, often labeled as play, speaks to the piece's title of battle, a fight, and dance, a joyous and playful action. Parents hope that as their children age, they will learn when the right time is for physicality. However, Libert points out that our animalistic nature lies just beneath. Thank you for joining me for this virtual Curators tour. We're so pleased to host this stellar collection of some of the country's finest photography. To see many more fantastic works, each with their own unique tales, I encourage you to see the National Best Contemporary Photography 2022 in person before it closes on January 8th.